Hello and welcome to Fireside Chats at the Influencer Series conducted by the Alchemist Accelerator. These are timely chats with tech leaders about what's on their mind. Let's get into it. Ben, it is an honor to have you today at the Influencer Series. You have a storied career here in Silicon Valley. You are the co-editor of Mashable, and you're one of the few journalists who's now taken the red pill and jumped into the entrepreneurial journey yourself. You're both an AI investor and a founder. You've been backed by General Catalyst and Bullpen and many other funds. Can you please tell everybody what you are doing now and what your current roles are and the organizations that you're with?
So for everyone out there, I do not necessarily believe in only having one job. Unless you are at the beginning and you're building your company, then you should have only one job because that is 6 jobs if you're a founder. Otherwise, in my world, I was a journalist, still write every once in a while. But my 2 main roles are as a founder. I co-founded an AI company called OctaneAI, which is profitable. Founded in 2016, long before anyone cared about AI or there was any kind of large language model. It powers the product recommendations, quizzes, and chatbots for 4,000 e-commerce brands now. And more recently, my co-founder and I have started a $25 million pre-seed seed stage AI fund called TheoryForge Ventures. And we're the active AI founders backing AI founders. Our number one rule is if we can build your product in a weekend, we won't invest. But if we can't build it in the weekend and you're the kind of founder that likes to tinker and build stuff and just figure stuff out, then we really want to back you. And we've written 10 checks this year, and we're going to write a lot more.
That's awesome. There's so much to talk about, but I'd love to kick it off with, we're here today talking about this has been the year of AI teammates, and that's sort of the theme, one of the themes of the Influencer Series event today is on AI agents. Can you share the thesis that you're going to present today at the Influencer Series?
So today I'm going to be talking about how AI and work and how AI is going to be affecting the way we work. And my general thesis, and this has been my thesis actually for a long time. There's a video of me talking about this in 2017. I found old archives, but it's that we are rapidly approaching a fork in the road, and in one path is dystopia, where the vast majority of people are not working, are not getting compensated the way that they should be compensated because AI can do so many more things than it used to be able to do. And in another version of our world will be utopia, where people will be able to do more things and have more free time and not have to do the monotonous things, and society works better. And at the current moment, I think we're going towards probably a more dystopian path if we don't really think and talk about these things. But I am an optimist at my core, and I do believe that we will end up at the utopian path. But this is we're at a crossroads that we haven't seen in generations.
And what are going to be the sensitivities on whether or not we go down the virtuous route or the sort of the dystopic view of the future? What's going to dictate where we end up?
So let's talk about what's happening right now, which is that we have now for the first time machines and AIs that can do not just white-collar work, but blue-collar work, can do math and calculations, and already are taking over, certain roles in things like art and graphic design and content. And there's actually a visible impact. It's impacted things like the marketplaces for Upwork and others, where the jobs for some of those roles are a lot less postings, just because you can use AI to do these things. And that wasn't true 2 years ago. This change is so rapid. And so you don't yet see some massive kind of layoffs. But what I do think is happening right now is that you see companies hiring far less people or doing layoffs and not hiring new people, and they're leveraging AI to help with making things more operationally efficient, to help with fill in those gaps. And the end result is that people are in jobs that they may not want to be in, and they had a job that they really liked before, or that people are becoming more distressed about what their future is going to go and look like. When I think AI should be the opposite, it can save us, cure our cancers, help us live better lives, and we're not doing enough to push that future.
But is it different than any? Maybe it's a difference in degree, but is it fundamentally different than any technological disruption that has occurred in the past? Even when the internet came on board, there's sort of an analogy where you had all of these offline vertical companies that then created these online equivalents, and that disrupted the old world, but it also expanded, the economy, and so the net was a positive increase in jobs and productivity and employment. Will the same hold true? So, in the late 90s when you had the whole internet revolution, it was all about taking these vertical businesses and creating an online equivalent for them. You had pet stores that went online, and obviously Amazon, the bookstores went online. And that killed a bunch of business, but it also opened up a lot of opportunity. Do you think the same holds true? Or
I think it's fundamentally different, actually, because in most of these past revolutions, it's just like the online revolution. It is simply like taking something you did in one medium into another. This is different. The AI can actually do labor, like Mark Benioff calls it digital labor. We're trying to figure out a name for this. When you think about how complex I've seen some extraordinarily complex AI agents. I know tons of companies where they use AI SDRs, for example, to do their sales outbound when it would have traditionally been a human. I do not believe you will ever see the level of hiring that we saw in 2020, 2021 was the absolute peak I think you'll see of hiring in tech, for example. I don't think we'll ever go back to that in any universe. And so over time, it's not some big thing where suddenly 50% of people are laid off from a company and it just happens all at once. It's going to happen gradually because this stuff kind of takes time. But we're already starting to see it happen, and it's starting to weaken some systems. I think that for lots of companies, it makes sense. These AIs can be really amazing and really efficient and can do things that humans can't. And in the best case scenario, the utopian scenario, you can have a world where humans instead of working I like what Jamie Dimon talks about recently, which is instead of a 5-day work week, it's a 3.5-day work week, but you can have the same wage because you do not, in my opinion, the vast majority of the human race does not need to work in order for society to function. And I think we are actually hitting an inflection point. And this topic you just mentioned is probably the biggest debate of are we actually, is it more like the Industrial Revolution where there were different types of jobs? Are we entering a new type of revolution where you just need less humans to do work in order for everything to function because of automation? And I'm in the camp of we are entering the latter. That could be a really incredible thing, but that means that we have to do policy change. We have to really we have to investigate things like UBI, Universal Basic Income, for those who don't know. That's something that Sam Altman, the CEO of OpenAI, talks a lot about. These are things we have to actually start talking about now, because if we start trying to figure these things out 10 years from now, it'll be too late.
10 years from now is too late. So in your view...
3 years from now is too late. 2 years from now is too late.
So when do you think is the tipping point when you start to see societal distress
It's already happening.
You think it's already happening?
So as the time of this recording, 2 events happened in the news this week. One was the unfortunate assassination of the United Healthcare CEO, and the other being the French government collapsing. And I think they're both symptoms and even the election that happened in November 2024 are all the same symptom of people being upset with the existing systems, and systems that worked 30, 40 years ago not working today. And why would they work? World has changed, society has changed, the way we consume information has changed, but the way we do government or we do business or capitalism or policy has not changed in the same way that it should and needs to.
But there's a narrative, though, Ben, that actually AI is going to free us to do the jobs that we actually want to do.
It's what I would like, and I think there is that world. It's possible.
So show me utopian Ben, because I only see dystopian Ben right now.
So the utopian...
How does utopian Ben come up?
The utopian version is, all right, we accept that the world, that this is a different kind of revolution. So how do we support people so that, they have their needs met and everything else they can do is gravy? And how do we make it so that, one, we are implementing more of these AIs to help us, but also at the same time supporting people who will be most impacted over time? This is where I think policy does really matter. Like UBI is an example of that.
And so you don't think the private markets on their own will solve the problem? You think this is something that requires governmental intervention?
I remember, and I don't remember who, I remember hearing something yesterday about how capitalism is really predictable in terms of you take capitalism and you point in a direction, people will compete and you will get incredible products, incredible things, but also people will just fight for their own piece of the pie. Government's role and policy's role is to steer that really predictable vehicle, capitalism, towards the best possible outcomes for society. And I think, no, you can't. I never have been of the opinion that you could do it with capitalism alone or free markets alone. It's a tandem kind of thing. And so now we have to figure out how do we point this in the most powerful innovation since the internet, if not more so, in my opinion. How do we point this new innovation towards helping society and doing the things we want it to do while making sure that we take care of the people who are going to be affected most by it?
And what's the most critical tactical item then that you think is important for society to do it sounds like, the very imminent term?
I mean, I don't know the full answer, truthfully. Like, I'm flying in January to some summit with a bunch of the top government leaders to have this discussion, and I've been more involved in this kind of thing behind the scenes. So I don't know the exact answer. It probably is some combination of policy change, of of something that may look like UBI, may have something else. I don't know. There's a lot but we have to have the discussions now, and to get more buy-in from government to we need probably someone at the top level leading AI in the government thinking about what the policies need to be and treating it at that same level as education or many of the other departments that we may have in government.
And you fundamentally think that this as a force is a regressive force, not a progressive force, AI, that it's not – I think there's another narrative that it's actually going to be the greatest –
I think AI at its course is a progressive
progressive, what I mean in terms of the distribution of wealth. I guess that's what I'm asking for.
I think
so. It's because there's a narrative, and I don't mean to interject, that AI is going to be the greatest enablement of single person entrepreneurship that has ever existed.
You can build a company. I had a prediction I came out with last year. People hated, but I know I'm right. Which is that there will be billion-dollar companies that are run by 5 people or even 1 person.
Yeah.
And you can do that with AI now. And so naturally the course is going to be wealth inequality as a result of if we don't have additional thought and changes. But the flip side is these AIs are improving people's lives. They are doing things like curing cancer. I have seen God knows how a shocking number of robotics AI companies that will help you fold your laundry and do the household chores and things like that so that you have more time to do the other things. And if we, it can make a whole world where we have more time, we can focus on art or our families or things like that, the things we actually want to go and do.
Yeah.
But we need to point our society in that direction and have AI take care of the things that we don't want to do. Because there's a lot of things that we do now that I don't think people actually want to do for work.
Yeah. With your investor hat on, what areas are grabbing your biggest attention? If you're an entrepreneur thinking about starting an AI startup, what areas do you find to be the most fascinating to go into? It's
funny because I do think my many thoughts on how AI is going to affect society means that there's going to be this new class of winners of AI companies, and they're almost all going to be startups across almost every vertical. It's going to happen across architecture and fabrication, may or may not be recent investments my fund has made in the last couple of weeks, in gaming, across verticals. That there's fundamentally TheoryForge, we think that AI is going to make for fundamentally better experiences and more efficient kinds of companies, and that the AI native companies are going to outcompete the non-AI native companies, and it's going to happen in I would say literally every vertical it will happen. And so this is like the opportunity now. You need to build something really quickly. You need to build something really inexpensively. You need to build something that isn't like, I hate using the word wrapper and all that, but you got to build something that has an additional unique insight beyond like, hey, if I point a GPT towards this direction, something will happen.
Can you give color to that? Just because all entrepreneurs hear that a lot, like it can't just be an LLM wrapper. What are the substantive things that you look for that evidence that this is more than just an LLM wrapper?
Product insight. So, example, my fund, we're early pre-seed investors into a company called Wordware. Wordware was part of like the last Y Combinator class. They built like the most intuitive way to build and deploy complex LLMs and AI products into your product using only natural language. And so their innovation is not like they built an LLM. That's not where your innovation is. It's that the product and interface is so easy and so intuitive to use. You do not have to be a programmer to like deploy an entire LLM within your product to build really complex AI apps. And they built the UI and the layering and all sorts of other things around it that would be really hard to replicate, and it's really hard to replicate great product. And they've been rewarded for it. They just raised a 30 million quote unquote seed very recently at a like incredible, like they're doing incredible, right? And I like see this kind of across where like for some, they're like trying something really ambitious. Like we have a company we invested in called Payman, where they're trying to build, instead of you paying the AI to work for you, the AI pays you to work for it, which I actually think is like, you know, a way to be paid by AI, like the like more utopian kind of version. They're going to be the payments layer between humans and AI. And I think that's something that no one else has tried. And there's some complex stuff in order to enable that they've had to go and build and makes them really defensible. And so that's like, it's like, how ambitious is your vision and what are like the things that in that vertical industry others won't do? Because, you know, OpenAI is not going to go and build HIPAA compliance for an advanced LLM just for medicine in a very specific area. I think that that's an area where startups can really win. But if you're trying to build your own LLM to compete with OpenAI, I'm going to be like, don't do that. Please don't do that.
Well, thank you, Ben. I want to close it just by inviting you, if you want to share a 6-word takeaway of advice for any entrepreneur that might be aspiring to go into the AI, this new AI era with a venture. Any final piece of advice you want to impart in 6 words or less?
I'm going to give my advice, and then I'll give some color. But my advice is no excuses, just start building now. And what I mean by no excuses, you don't know how to code, does not matter. There's Cursor, there is Wordware, there is Replit. You can literally learn how to go and do it. My co-founder literally built a social network called startupspeedrun.com, and you could literally learn how to use Cursor and code with AI and post your projects. We have backed founders where they built everything using Cursor, and they were not programmers at their core. But you could build amazing products, so there's no excuses. Just go build. You can do that now. It's insane that you can do that now. Do it.
No excuses, just go build. Thank you, Ben. That was terrific. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And that's our show. Thanks for listening. Please stay tuned for more discussions as well. You can also check out our website, alchemistaccelerator.com, to learn more about the Alchemist Startup Accelerator program and to get in touch. We'd love to hear from you.